we have on Jack. Now, hopefully you've seen our kind of F8 Facebook audience network chat, and he touched on a little bit about the 3 mistakes that a lot of marketers are making with mobile. Now, if you haven't seen that video, Jack is a marketer, of course. You know, he's been in the space since around 2009. In about 2011, he started seeing a need, which was mobile websites for local businesses. So, you know, he was selling some other services, and he started also selling the mobile websites. And then after selling a few of these, he realized, hey, there's a lot more to mobile than just mobile websites. You know, there's mobile SEO, there's mobile ads, there's the whole app network. So he's kind of expanded from that, and now he's just focused on, you know, mobile as a channel in general, I would say. So, Jack, appreciate you coming on, back on.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me, Sweeney.
So let's, I don't want to, you know, kind of burden people, so to speak, but let's take about 3 minutes and just touch on really quickly those 3 main mistakes that you had mentioned, in case people hadn't heard that. And the really quick overview is, look at mobile as if it's, you know, a completely different channel. Don't look at it as just an extension of your marketing. Number 2, responsive is a Band-Aid. So you need a real mobile site. And number 3 is that, remember, with mobile, there is device and carrier targeting. And this is very specific to mobile. So if you want to touch on those 3 points real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we talked about in the last video not just making mobile as an extension of your current marketing campaign. And so the way to really consolidate that is just say, take it seriously, right? This year, mobile's overtaking desktop traffic. So if we don't start taking it seriously in terms of good landing pages, good offers, actually thinking about things from a mobile consumer's point of view, then here in the next couple of years, you know, marketers are going to start missing out on that revenue. You know, so that's number 1. Number 2, like you said, responsive design is good. So if you're working with responsive WordPress designs or whatever for your offers, that's fine and it can work to get you a start. But eventually you're going to need to move towards building custom landing pages specifically designed for your mobile consumers. And we touched a little bit on, you know, make sure that you've got good content above the fold, like a video, maybe an audio file, maybe some bullet points or an infographic, something like that. But the key takeaway is, don't just use responsive because it doesn't look that great. Make sure that you're thinking about how this looks to somebody who's actually a mobile consumer. And then thirdly, yeah, we touched on device and carrier targeting. We don't have this with desktop marketing, right? This isn't something we've had to talk about or explore yet, but now with mobile, there's so many different device types, different screen sizes, different load speeds, different resolutions. You know, different carriers work different ways, have different demographics of customers. So when you're targeting a mobile offer, you have to think about not just, you know, these are mobile consumers, but what device are they on, what carrier are they using, and what assumptions can I make about them based upon those factors, right? And then factor that into your overall mobile marketing campaign.
Awesome. And now I kind of want to dive into, you know, say you recognize mobile as an opportunity and you start running some ads. So kind of tell us some of the lessons you learned, or, you know, how that first experience went, because I'm sure it was,
yeah.
I mean, I don't even know where I would start, you know, what network I would go to. I don't know what kind of offer I would run. I don't even know, you know,
right,
what numbers would look like. So I'm very curious.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, to be honest with you, it was overwhelming. You know, when I first started, you know, I started looking into this back in, you know, 6 months ago or so, really looking into the traffic side of things, right? I was selling mobile websites, but I was like, there's got to be a way to drive traffic with this. It's such a huge opportunity. And I was completely overwhelmed. What I found was a really fragmented, segmented market, right? There's 3 big players: Google, Facebook, and Twitter. But beyond that, right, can you name any other mobile networks out there, right? And I couldn't when I first started. So there's like, there's all.
The only one that comes to mind.
Yeah, so AdMob, which is part of Google now, they kind of rolled it all together. But what I started finding was, and I'll tell you exactly, my transition and everything. I started finding all these different ad networks like airpush.com, Millennial Media, Leadbolt, BuzzCity. There's a ton of them. And basically what these sites are, they're app aggregators, essentially. So they go out to all these app publishers and they say, hey, we'll pay you 4 cents a click, or whatever the case may be. We'll pay you X amount of money to let us run our ads inside of your application. And it's broken down into maybe 10 categories, right? So let's say AirPush has 10 different categories that I can target. They've got gambling, health, entertainment, fitness, and whatever I can't think of them all off the top of my head, but like society, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I
very
tested it out.
broad.
Very, very broad categories. And the nice thing about it, what enticed me about the whole thing was I was paying 3 cents a click, right? So I was like, okay, if I can make this convert at 3 cents a click, this is going to be awesome, right? So I dove in and I was like, holy cow, 3 cents a click, I can run as many offers as I want to. Sky's the limit. I don't have to worry about budget. So I went and I was like, okay, what's the easiest way so I don't have to do anything? Well, CPA, right? They already built the offers. So that's kind of where I started with everything, and I was like, okay, how do I – well, at first, like I said, 3 cents a click, I just threw some offers out there. I was like, okay, great. Let me take this iPhone 5 offer, throw $250 at it and see what happens, right? What I found was after spending a couple $1,000s, that's not how to do it. It's so untargeted that, yes, I got conversions, and I probably made back half the money that I spent, but I still lost, half of that money that I spent because I didn't understand what was happening.
Like anyone who first gets into paid ads, you lose your ass a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the learning curve.
Right, and so to make a long story short, with those specific app aggregator payment platform, traffic platforms, right? The way to be successful with those, and this is just a very broad overview. If you guys want more information about it, obviously hit me up. But you have to use something like an iMobi tracking software, or Tracking 2.2 or 202, Prosper 202, where it drills down and gives you more information about the people that you're getting clicks from, right? Because otherwise you're just going to lose your ass. You're paying 3 cents a click, but if you can't convert those customers, it doesn't matter, right? And so the big takeaway from that, if you're going to go after those networks, is tracking. You got to get your tracking set up, and it has to be where you can see where your ROI is coming from and eliminate the carriers and device types that aren't converting for you, right? So that was kind of my first foray into everything, and I've expanded from there. So now I've done, like I said, the 3 big players: Google AdWords, Twitter, and Facebook.
And I want to, not to derail the conversation.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Facebook, YouTube, the TrueView ads.
Ah, yes, YouTube. You're right.
And they recently added in the app install. I don't know if you saw that announcement.
I didn't see that.
So now with TrueView ads, there's going to be a feature way that you can basically click a TrueView ad and go straight to an app install.
Wow, I didn't see that. That's cool.
Exactly.
No, you're right, man. YouTube's huge.
Opened up the market even more.
Wow. Yeah, so basically, to kind of give you a little backstory, right? So I tried out all these networks that weren't getting me a lot of targeted traffic. I started thinking there's got to be a better way to do this. There has to be a better way to find more targeted traffic, right? And I'm not really a CPA guy, right? CPA is fine. If I can make money with it, great. There's a lot of spammy offers that I don't feel comfortable promoting, so that eliminates 50% of my traffic potential right there, because I'm not going to run casino or dating or any of those types of things. I just don't, it doesn't make me feel good inside. So I'm like, okay, there's got to be a better way to do this. So I started looking into Google AdWords. And this is kind of where I'll touch on some of the brokering stuff you and I talked about, if you want me to.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. We mentioned this in conversation, and I said, don't talk about this on the main podcast. I don't know if people can handle that, but talk about it, for our members, because our members are a bit more advanced.
For sure. So I started looking into AdWords, right? what I found with AdWords is I can get a lot more precise with my targeting, right? So I'm running a campaign right now, just to give you an example of the traffic. My wife's pregnant, so I was like, okay, pregnancy, that's an awesome niche, right? So let me see what kind of traffic's there. So I went in to Google AdWords. You can set up an in-app specific display campaign. So I set that up that way, and I did the little search browser where Google says search all the apps. I typed in pregnancy. Well, I found 500,000 to 600,000 devices and like 50 to 60 million impressions a week, right? That was the traffic potential just inside of applications for pregnancy. So I'm like, that's a market. I'm going to see what I can do with this. So I threw a banner ad up, 320 by 50. Like, that's the typical mobile banner ad size. So I threw a banner ad up, and my click-through rate was like 0.05%. Horrible. So, but I got like 110,000 impressions my first day. I got 60 clicks. I spent $10, and I got one conversion. Terrible, right? So I was like, okay.
How much was the? How much were you getting for the product, or what was the actual product?
So the product, the funnel wasn't built out yet. This was just me kind of going, all right, if I can build a list in this niche, I know I can monetize them because I've done email marketing for the past few years. Like, that's, you know, I can convert these people onto something. Yeah. I'll figure that out later, right? I got to get the opt-ins first, then I'll build out this funnel if I see that it's successful. So right now I integrated some offers. There's a CPA offer that's children's books. So they pay the shipping and handling, and they get 3 free children's books. So that's one that I'm running right now. My wife's actually looking into, like, I was like, what would you like? What would you buy? So I'm making her build out the funnel for me. But so basically, here's what happened, right? So I found out that with Google, I can precise target these people, right? So rather than going to AirPush, yeah, I'm paying, you know, 17 to 25 cents a click. It's not 3 cents a click like it was over on AirPush, but at least I'm finding my customers, right? I'm finding people that actually want to buy. And then it was just a matter of massaging and tweaking my campaign, which I have a case study out there. I'll send it to you if you want to post it up to these guys later, where basically I made one small change, and
it sounds, I can't help but laugh because it's like I made one small change and then everything converted.
Yeah, right? No, it sounds fake, but no, legit. Like, so I spent $10 the first day and I got 1 opt-in. I spent $10 the next day with that one small change. I got 7 opt-ins, right? So I'm getting closer, right? I made a couple more tweaks. Now I'm to the point my landing page is converting over 30%. I'm spending $10 a day. I'm getting anywhere from 15 to 20 opt-ins a day. I'm spending about 64 cents per lead, right? And I have no competition because there's nobody else marketing inside these pregnancy apps. Like, I'm the only guy. So I have access to 600 million impressions on a weekly basis, and I can just let that offer run and
You know
run.
what's interesting? I don't know how far you plan on taking this, but I know that the pregnancy market is the most expensive market and the hardest market to go after and go into. So I'm
I didn't know
surprised. Like, 64 are you because I don't know the exact stats, but I know that, like, I mean, the reality is you got to buy diapers, you got to buy baby clothes, you got to buy formula, you got to buy baby food.
Right.
Like, and it doesn't matter how much money you have to buy these things, you know. So it is one of the most expensive demographics, you know, and everyone's always fighting tooth and nail to go over these. I would almost argue that if you figured out the right method, that you could take this traffic, take these leads, and you could sell those leads at $2 easy.
You're probably right.
Even more, and then you could just go, you know, I mean, you're getting them at 64 cents, and then you just scale up the campaign, and boom. So, just
throw $100, $200 a day at it.
And even for people listening, you know, to give them some perspective, like, that's a very expensive demographic. You know, this isn't like free app users. These are pregnant women who have, you know, like I said,
like these are premium leads.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, this might be the cream of the crop. Like, you might have accidentally gone after, like, the hardest market you possibly could have.
Right.
I
accidentally stumbled into a gold mine.
Your sales page is already written. The only one that I know that is maybe better is the double income no kids market. So
Right.
that's, when you have two people that are together, typically married, and they have no kids and they both work. My
Yeah.
cousins are like that. They joke all the time, and they call them dinks. And these people just have disposable income like crazy because there's two people that both work, they're both bringing in money, and they have no
Right.
kids to spend it on. So that I know that market is very highly sought after, but man, the
Yeah.
pregnancy market is huge.
Dude, it is. And so, just to kind of give a super broad overview with
Well,
app traffic,
what
right?
was the one thing you changed? I'm sorry, you were
No, no,
talking
you're
about
good.
the study.
So, and I touch on this a little bit in the case study when I send it out to you guys, but the one thing I changed was my offer, right? So my first offer was for a newsletter, right? A weekly woman's newsletter. Well, nobody wanted that. So I changed my offer, like we talked about in the last video. Remember how I said your offer needs to be compelling and it needs to be interesting to somebody, interesting enough that they'll stop what they're doing to take action on your offer, right? Because we're interrupting them. They're in the middle of something. So I changed my offer to make it compelling, and I gave them the 6 must-have freebies for every new mom. And then I gave them links to go and get this stuff for free. And so now they're eating it up, right? Because it's compelling, it's interesting. It's not just like, oh, this boring newsletter. What's that?
How did you end up deciding upon that offer?
So my original offer converted about 10%. That was the conversion rate. Now I'm converting about 30-something% on my opt-in page. And it was just a matter of kind of sitting down and taking a step back, right? And just thinking to myself, right, if I was a pregnant woman, what would make me, I'm in this application and I'm reading about my pregnancy, right? Because this is how it works. Obviously you're not pregnant right now, so you probably don't know how these apps work.
Thank
but so it's a daily update of what's going on with the baby, that kind of thing, right? So these women every day they're going in and every day they're reading, oh, the baby grew this much and this and that and whatever. They don't need another newsletter. They've already got the information right there in front of them. So what do they need, right? Well, they're going to be a mom here sometime within the next 9 months. The baby's going to come out, right? So they need diapers, they need formula, they need all those things you were just talking about earlier, right? So when what Emily was like, my wife, she was like, they have all these companies that give that stuff away for free.
You want to know why?
Dude, why is that?
Because it's their lead magnet.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the same way that a marketer gives away a free opt-in report, what have you, to get someone on a customer list. These companies will give away probably $20 worth of free diapers, even more. Who knows? Because they know it can get you. And that's where it feeds back into what I was telling you about. The pregnancy niche being a very premium.
Yep. Lead. Yeah. So I mean, it's like, give them stuff they're going to need to buy here in the next couple months anyway, right? So just put it in front of them while they're reading about their baby, right? So in a way, psychologically, like, they're kind of in a vulnerable state with this niche specifically, right? They're reading about their baby, they're getting all sentimental and whatever, and then they see this ad that says, hey, get your new mom must-haves for free. Click here. They're like, oh, cool, you're right, I am going to need that. And then I click, and then basic marketing, right? Make your landing page correlate to the ad. So the landing page is very, very simple. It just says, get your new mom must-haves for free. Click or put your email in below to get emailed this free report right away, or something like that, right? So that one little change. So I changed it from get your free newsletter.
Can you use a Facebook Connect button on mobile or no?
So yes, but here's the issue with it, and somebody's got to build an integration for this. Maybe me and you should do that, Sweeney. So basically what happens is if you click a Facebook Connect button on your phone, it'll open up inside your browser rather than inside your app, right? And so then if you're not logged in the browser, you have to log in, then click the button. So it's kind of this whole long process. But if we could get it to open inside the app, which I know there's got to be a way to make it happen, That'd be very, very powerful.
Well, I know, so two things on that. One, that's happened to me, and it annoys the hell out of me. And if it's
Yeah,
something I really want, I'm like, oh, I'll sign in to look at this, but it pisses me off. Like, I don't
right,
need to sign in my browser, I have the app. But I'm pretty sure Facebook also mentioned at F8 that they're going to have some more direct kind of app-to-app type capabilities.
huh,
So, and I'm not sure exactly. I think this is more for the ads.
right,
But I mean, it's kind of where we're moving. Like before, it used to be the web and web pages. Now it's a lot more apps. So it's more like you shouldn't have to like have this bridge. You should be able to
right,
go from app into app. So I think that's what they're coming out with, and which also made me remember the reason why Google is doing the TrueView app installs is because a lot of people, 90%, whatever, some number, most of us know this by ourselves. You download an app, you never look at it again, you delete it.
right,
So what app companies, developers, and whatnot are trying to do is, and what you're going to be able to do with Google is remarketing. So if someone installs your app and they haven't used it yet, then you can hit them, hey, use the app, hey, use the app, hey, use the app.
right,
And you can try to, remarket to them enough to get them to that hooked point where they get hooked with the app.
right.
So
That's powerful, though.
yeah, all very interesting stuff. But that is a shame that you can't use the Facebook Connect button because,
Right,
I mean, first off, we know with data reach, not to pimp our own stuff, but with data
right,
reach, you get a lot of invaluable information. But even just any kind of Connect tool, the fact that you can one-click opt in and you don't have to fill out
right.
type in your stuff. I mean, I use Facebook Connect for everything. If
Mm,
I go to a website and they say, hey, do you want to create a login, or they're like, do you want to use the Facebook Connect? I'm like, I'm already connected to everything else. What does it matter now?
right. Well, and I mean, dude, we could probably go from 30% to 40 to 50% by integrating a Facebook Connect button.
But what I'm saying too is that and I try not to just pimp the data reach thing, but you then get these demographics. Like I said, any Connect
Right,
button is going to improve your opt-in rate, which is
right,
step one. But with the what's nice about data reach or about any Facebook Connect button, just to kind of make it more general, is you're getting their Facebook email address. What does
right,
this mean? It means you can build a custom audience. It's going to match because you've got their Facebook email address. I think you can also get their UID, so then you're going to be able to target them on Facebook
right,
or add to them on Facebook. And with what data reach does, it pulls in these other demographic information, so then you can kind of use the people that opted into this and use that traffic and leverage that traffic to go, okay, I know that, women that like this group, this Facebook group or this Facebook
right.
page are very similar to the people that sign up in the app. And then you can run a
So you
Facebook
can,
ad for the 6 must-haves, the 6 free must-haves for moms, and you know
right.
exactly who to target that's just like the people you already targeted.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, so you use it to make assumptions about the greater market and
Well,
kind of
no,
expand your reach.
what it does is it pulls the data from the people, and then it tells you the
Right,
top
right. So I'm
10.
saying, so then you can kind of make assumptions about the greater market, right? So if
No,
you get
no, no.
50 opt-ins,
I'm saying, well, if you get 50 opt-ins, you need enough data that it's certifiable. I'm saying that if
sure.
100 people opt in, it'll say, hey, these are the top 10 groups. So
Ah,
say 70% all are in this group, or 10% are in this
right,
group.
right.
And it gives you like their main groups, their main likes, their main that kind of data.
Gotcha. So then you can just target them,
Mm-hmm.
expand your reach.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, I like that. So yeah, man, hopefully we'll see with F8 if they roll that capability out to open the button inside the app. I think it'll be useful, the Facebook button.
Yeah, well, I know it's some app-to-app type communication. I would assume there's a way to do it with the Facebook Connect button. I wrote it down, and
Yeah,
I'll reach out to our developers and
cool.
see what they have to say. But anyway, so back to this. So you make this landing page change. You go from 10% for this newsletter to around 30% for the 6 must-haves. I would say
Yep.
because you're kind of giving results in advance to an extent, you're building goodwill. Like I'd say you're getting better leads too.
Right.
And you don't have to do anything. Before you said you're kind of giving them a newsletter. Now,
Yeah, no, I don't have to write anything.
yeah.
No, it's perfect. So it's basically like, so I made that small change, right? I got 30%. I got to 30% opt-ins. Now I know my landing page is working, right? Well, I told you my click-through rate was 0.05%, right? Well, now I got to go back. I got to change my ad. And that's just basic split testing that we all do, right? So I split tested. I'm, I think, at like 28% right now, so that's 5 times at least more than what it was. So I got my clicks down from 25 cents a piece to around 17 cents a click. I'm getting opt-ins, converting at like, again, over 30%, and I'm paying 64 cents per lead. And basically that whole process took me about 2.5 days, 3 days.
And
So,
how
right,
much inventory did you say there is?
600 million impressions a week,
I
right?
honestly think that you're gonna like get off this call and you're gonna find someone you can sell those leads to, and you're gonna turn it up. And
Yeah,
I'm gonna text you like 3 weeks from now, like, hey, you going to this event? You're gonna be like, dude, I'm over here in the Bahamas. I just bought an island. Sorry.
right. No, that's a great idea, man. I need to look into that.
I joke, but like you stumbled. I think you did stumble into gold mine. So, anyways,
Right.
besides that, just interesting stuff about mobile ads. Like I said, a
Yep.
lot of people don't know this. So then, you kind of optimize the banner.
Yep.
Did you see any changes with the banner? I'm curious that kind of created this big change. You had the newsletter to freebies. So did you see any kind of banner copy switch or imagery that really worked well?
Yeah, so I mean, I basically kept my banners the same. I think I had 5 or 6 that I was split testing, but I changed the wording, and I, changed up the images and stuff a little bit just to make it more compelling to the freebie giveaway than the newsletter, right? But here's something, if you guys want to know, right, how to make a good mobile ad, here's how you do it, right? So I said 320 by 50 is like the typical banner size. But the key with it is keep your banner between 7 and 10 words, right? So don't put any more than 7 to 10 words. Have an image on the left-hand side that correlates to your offer, and then on the right-hand side, have a call to action button. So click here, get access now, whatever you want to say, and then sandwiched in the middle, have your 7 to 10 words of text.
So
and that
it's kind
seems
of
to
left to right, like get their attention with the image, get them to read it and get convinced, get them over.
Yep, exactly. So that's kind of the best type of converting ad that I've found.
And that makes a lot of sense. It's something we've seen and I've heard before, that kind of 7 words. I think Nishant might have been talking about it. I'm not sure.
Huh.
But the reason for that is that, do you know why phone numbers are 7 numbers?
No.
Mentally, for some reason, we can store 7 different pieces of data the best. So like that's kind of our limitation. So after that, we have to almost think again, or it's like another chunk of information.
Right.
That's why with e-commerce sites, a lot of times they'll take the categories and they'll chunk them, and they normally shouldn't go higher than 7, because after
Right.
that, people can't read them all, or they have to read it like twice to continue all the information.
Interesting. I didn't know that. It makes a lot of sense, though.
So if you have a 7-word headline compared to a 10-word headline, a 7-word headline, technically they can read in one click.
Right.
Click, what have you. A 10-word, it's going to take 1, 2.
Huh. Interesting. I'm going to have to test that out. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah. So
and see if that makes a difference.
I don't remember what psychology book I read it in. I've read so many psychology books, but I remember that was the direct, correlation to why cell phone number or phone numbers are only 7 numbers, with the area.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense, though.
Yeah.
And it brings us back to, like I said, concise content, mobile optimized page. These are all important things to factor in when you're doing mobile. And if, you give them too much information to process, they're not going to take action on their phone, right?
Yeah.
So.
Now I'm curious with these leads, because mobile, I can see it being hard to monetize. Are you trying to use more of a get the lead with mobile, monetize via desktop? Have you monetized on mobile a little bit? What does that kind of schematic look like?
Yeah, so yes and no. I mean, with these leads right now, my main thought process was this. Nobody else is going after this app traffic, right? So it's kind of, if you can find a honey hole, right? Like I found this pregnancy honey hole, right? There's lots of leads in there and no one else is running traffic. Let's say you find one in the fitness niche or whatever other niche you want to go after. You kind of have exclusive access, right? Whereas it seems with Facebook and stuff now, things are starting to get a little more, a lot more competition, right? People are moving into a lot of the same markets, whereas with this app stuff, you can get cheap clicks and you can kind of dominate the market. So that was my mindset there. But in terms of converting them, right now I'm converting them on desktop. So I'm getting the lead, I'm converting them on desktop. I'm trying to figure out how to monetize them on mobile. And I know we talked a little bit about like one-click carrier billing and stuff like that. There's solutions out there that are up and coming. They haven't really figured out how to do it perfectly yet. But eventually we'll be able to do like micro subscriptions, right? So that's something I'm kind of tossing around in my head, like a $2.99 a month type subscription payment, if we could monetize that a certain way, or even, you and I sell info products, right? So instead of doing a $17 info product geared towards a desktop user, maybe we consolidate the course down a little bit, chunk it into a couple weeks worth of content, and charge them $2.99 a month to access that content, and we drip feed it to them. So those are things I'm working towards implementing. But to answer your question, right now I'm getting the traffic off of mobile and I'm monetizing it via desktop.
Gotcha. All right. So have you had any other kind of experiences? Actually, I don't know if we actually touched on it. I know we brought it up, the ad brokering.
I don't remember if I went fully into detail on that.
I don't think so. I think you just teased on it.
Touched on it?
Yeah.
So okay, so basically, yeah, this correlates to what we were talking about with AdWords, right? So I started thinking, the reason I found this out was I was going after a really, really narrow niche. I was running traffic that was specific to entrepreneurs. I didn't want general business. I wanted specifically entrepreneurs or people running startup companies, right? So I went through the same process I just described to you to find the pregnancy leads, right? Well, there are not very many startup or entrepreneur apps to target. So instead of 500 million impressions a week, it looked like I was going to get maybe 10,000 impressions a week, something like that. Very small audience. So I'm like, okay, I started running. Yeah, so I ran some ads in there, and I was getting maybe 10 clicks a day, something like that. Nothing that was going to turn into something profitable. So I started thinking, okay.
Let me ask you a quick question.
Yes.
Because, like I said, a lot of people don't know too much about mobile. I know myself. Is there kind of a general average click-through rate for mobile? Because a lot of people are thinking Facebook. They're thinking,
1.0.
Yeah. So
that whole thing.
Yeah. With mobile, I mean, this is more strict banner stuff. You're not running newsfeed ads, so banner
right.
I know are pretty low.
So what I've found is if I can get close to the 0.5 mark, like anything above, especially with like Google AdWords Display Network, if you can get above 0.1 on the display network, you're doing okay. If you can get that like to half, 0.5, or even close to 1 if you can, like that's where you're going to be kicking butt. And that's where you're going to get, the 5-6 cent clicks type of thing. With these other, fragmented networks, it's pretty, you pay 3 cents a click and that's it. There's no, if you get your click-through rate up, doesn't matter. So you can have a 0.001% click-through rate and you'll still pay 3 cents.
Gotcha.
So
you're running these, ads to entrepreneurs. You see there's only 10,000 impressions. You're a little kind of.
Yeah. So I start digging around and I'm like, there has to be a way to expand my reach, right? I want to get mobile-specific traffic because I'm doing this test and I want to see what happens. So there has to be a way to kind of expand this out other than Google AdWords. So I went to the Google Play Store just kind of on a whim, and I typed in entrepreneur, right, in the keyword search bar, and all these apps popped up, like 400 apps that weren't listed inside of Google AdWords. And I was like, oh, interesting. So there is a lot more traffic out there. I wonder why Google's not giving me access to it. Mm-hmm. So I start digging around, and I'm clicking in these apps, and they've got 100,000, 500,000 installs, things like that. And I'm like, this is weird. There's a lot of traffic here. Wonder why I can't get access to it. So as I'm browsing around, I see, and I don't want to give too much away because I actually just put this into my my new little training course here, but you can contact these people essentially, and you can broker a direct deal with them. So I found a guy who had, I think it was 500,000 to 1 million downloads of his app, and it was perfect. It was entrepreneurs. It was geared exactly towards what I wanted. I hit him up via email, and I just said, hey, man, this is what I got going on. I'm working on this new startup venture and looking to run some traffic in mobile. Would you be willing to work something out with me?
Was that for the for a company I probably know of?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Thought so. Continue.
So I hit this guy up, and I figured out the gate, like maybe I'll send 25 emails to these different developers and see what happens, right? So I didn't take too much time, maybe spent a half an hour. I got like 7 responses back in like minutes, right? So I brokered this deal with this guy. The very first guy who hit me up, he was really interested. I paid him $200, and that $200 was for 1,000 clicks, right? So 20 cents a click. He made me pay a little bit more because he was like, oh, my traffic's premium, blah, 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 whatever. Long story short, 20 cents a click. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that for people that aren't as familiar with media buying, when you go direct to the source, that's typically kind of how things are going to happen. And then if you get a good repertoire, then you can kind of negotiate lower rates, or you can also kind of say, hey, let me run, because this is really kind of going to media buying, and some people probably aren't as familiar with it. So you're kind of paying for it up front. You're not paying for it on this kind of platform or anything. It's more of a direct exchange. So you can negotiate and say, hey, how about this is my first try. If it's successful, I plan on doing a lot of money with you. So let me get this much for X amount. So you negotiated for $200 for
$200, 1,000 clicks.
1,000 clicks.
So that was I was like, let's do a little test. I want to test your traffic out before we get serious about this. So 20 cents a click. Basically, to make a long story short, I'm still running traffic inside this guy's ad. It's been about 2.5 months, and I haven't hit my 1,000 clicks yet, but my opt-in rate's 35%. I've generated 250 some leads for the company, right? And so each one of those leads is costing way less than $1. With my conversion rate right now and where my number of clicks are at, for that $200 investment, I'm going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 500 leads for $200, right?
So
These
we're
are
looking at about 20 cents a lead?
Yeah, something like that. So very, very cheap, very, very targeted, and that's kind of where things clicked in my head, and I'm like, yup. Like, if you can't find what you need in these ad networks, right, they don't have the inventory, go find it yourself and set up a direct broker deal. So now I've done that like several more times in a bunch of other niches, and it's easy.
Ninja, mobile ad media by Ninja, man, you are
right.
No, that's very smart. And it's a very fresh, it's a very new space, and this is part of the reason why I'm so excited about the Facebook Audience Network, is because the second you reached out to this guy, he hit you back in minutes, and he was begging for those $200. You know, because
I touched on this earlier. He's getting 4 cents a click or whatever the case may be from this network for running a banner. When I go direct to him and say, okay, listen, you're getting 4 cents a click. How long does it take you to get to $200? I'll give you $200 today. If you delete all those other apps or other banners out of your app and let me run my app exclusively, or excuse me, I keep saying app, banner. Let me run my ad exclusively in there, right? And they love it.
And it's one of those things where it's people sometimes get too caught up in paid ads, and it's kind of a small mindset, and I know it's happened to me before. It happens to everyone. It's not always just about the cost per click. It's about the cost per conversion.
Right.
You know, it's cost per lead, and then it's also about scaling it. You know, sure, in this perfect world, you can have this very small campaign with penny clicks, and you can get a lead for 5 cents, but that doesn't matter if you can't bring it to the big leagues. So that's where you're stepping up and saying, hey, I'll spend a little bit more for this traffic because I know it's good traffic. I know it's going to convert for me, and I'm going to I'm going to still hit my numbers, and the numbers will still be fine. 20 cents a lead or 25 cents a lead is fine compared to trying to nickel and dime for 10 cents a lead and not be able to scale it as well. We'll also be interested that I'm wondering is, with the landing page and some of these marketing materials, I don't know, and I don't know how deep this could go, and I don't know if this is gray or not, but at some point you gotta say as featured in this app.
I like that.
Like you could do that. You could do that on the landing page, for example, maybe to kind of correlate, or even
build in some social proof.
Yeah,
I dig that.
And
I like that a lot.
I would see how you could go a little bit deeper, and instead of doing a banner, say, hey, how can we do something native? How can we get native? How can we get in and get dirty? And this $200 arrangement worked. How can I give you $500 to be in your app for the next 3 months? And we run a piece of content, or we run a video, or we run something together.
Yeah, yeah, feature us somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know with the
absolutely.
apps, so obviously it's kind of just talking, but there's
But
always a
no,
way.
that's a great idea. I mean, what you're saying is exactly what they're doing with F8, right? So they're going to allow us that capability. And so while in the meantime, we can kind of do that ourselves. If let's say it takes them 3 months to roll that out for us fully, well, in the meantime, let's get some native ads set up on our own. I think that's an awesome idea.
Exactly. Well, and even then, you can always wait around for things, or you can just go out there and make it happen. And there's always going
Right,
to be, probably app developers that don't have these kind of things. And direct media buying, that's age old stuff. If you find a source
right.
that works, you throw down the cash and you make it happen. There's
Yep.
plenty of sites out there that don't have ads on them, and if you can, throw down, you can do well. I know we are kind of in talks to try to figure out a deal with someone to run native ads on her blog exclusively.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if it's going to happen, but it's that same kind of mindset of they're not really monetizing anyways, so
Right.
let's.
Well, and it opens up doors to be creative too, right? So let's say I have a product that's $27 and I don't have $200 to pay this guy to run my ad, right? Well, let's make an arrangement. How about I pay you 50% commission on every $27 product we sell, and we just let this thing run forever,
Yeah.
right? So there's a way to do it for free for
Well,
those that are.
I think
Go ahead.
that's a great point, and what I would almost do too, to be even more serious, a little bit more serious about it, is I would say, hey, how about this too? What I'm going to do for you, because I really want this relationship to work, is let's say it's, to make it easy, a $30 product. So I'm going to give you advance. I'm going to give you $45 today, and we'll just consider that an advance, kind of goodwill act for the first 3 commissions,
Hmm.
just to get this thing rolling. And
Right.
then, after those commissions, I'll pay out, the $15 on every sale as it moves. And I feel like, because maybe you don't have $200, but you
Yeah.
have $45, you go, hey, just to show you I'm serious, here's money right now because I know this is going to work and this is going to make sales.
No, that's an awesome idea. Show of good faith. You kind of like you let them know you're not some scammer. You have some money, you'll give it to them, and start the relationship off on the right foot.
It's all about, starting the relationship and good faith. And if you can reach out that money a little bit, what's $45 if you know it's going to work, and you might be in a
Right.
position, and especially if you're scaling this, you might be in a position where man, I wish I could get this. How can I get this on, say, all right, so if you're going to do this on 2 apps, it's going to cost you $400. How can I
Right.
get this on 10 apps? Well, if I do it this way and give them the $45 in advance, that's only $450. Now I have it on 10 different apps, and
Right.
I'm giving them a cut, and as long as it's converting, we're both going to run this.
Yeah, absolutely. And they'll run it forever.
Yeah.
That's the key. If it converts, they're going to run it forever, man, because they're making money. So you made a win-win situation for everybody.
And
And
then
you get
after
the
you've made
leads.
enough money, then it's time to start start buying the traffic straight up and cut that 50%
Yeah, right.
out.
Exactly. So yeah, just kind of a broad overview of the brokering strategy. I mean, I didn't go into full details, but I hope that made sense.
No, definitely, definitely. I mean, it made a lot of sense. That was something I used to talk about a little bit. I joked about Facebook page brokering because
Nice.
people are always trying to build their own fan pages and run offers and run ads, and I'm like, if you reach out to some of these fan page owners that aren't converting currently, that aren't doing anything, that maybe just run it for fun.
Right.
Hey, I'll give you $50 for 4 posts, or give you this much for these posts.
Yeah, for sure.
And
So
what
it's a
I'm
good
interested
strategy.
in, I think there's one called the Manual, and I believe it's for guys. It's kind
Okay.
of a site for guys or a blog for guys.
Right.
And I don't know how the deal works, but I'm curious to see, because I see these ads. Different products will kind of run ads through the Manual. And it makes sense, because if you've heard of this magazine before, you've heard of this blog before, you've never heard of this product, they're lending their credibility and leveraging this already established, authority, which is the blog,
Right.
to sell their product.
Hmm.
Like if
No,
you've never
it's
heard of the Dollar Shave Club and you see an ad for the Dollar Shave Club, you're like, screw off, I don't know you.
right.
If the Manual runs the ad and it's like, hey, check out this cool thing we found out. It's razors, you get a monthly, and they're super cheap.
Right.
Click here to learn more. You're like, oh, cool.
Yeah. It's like they're vouching for you.
It's one of those lending credibilities and leveraging their audience. They obviously have fans and people
Yep.
that have seen them before or already like them. So that's
Well,
an
and
interesting. interesting space as well.
Just to take that one step further, I forgot to touch on this, but with these brokering relationships too, it opens up more doors for other traffic. So this guy who I paid $200 to, right? He also has YouTube channels with like over 1 million subscribers, right? So boom, we're talking about him setting up me some videos, right? That's not mobile traffic, but I opened up the gate to all his other traffic capabilities. And he has a list of over 10,000 people in the entrepreneur niche, and he's just like, well, yeah, man, I'll give you access to that, blah, blah, blah. So we're talking about all this stuff. So I could go from $200, my $200 investment turned into 35% conversion rate for my own traffic, YouTube traffic, and a list of 10,000 people in the entrepreneur niche just from setting up this relationship and building good rapport with one person.
Exactly.
Right? So it's just kind of this overall. It's not even just mobile necessarily, you know?
When people know how to build some of these things and get traffic, but they don't always know how to monetize it.
Right.
So what we're doing is we're jumping in and saying, hey, let me get that traffic and I can monetize it.
Yeah.
You know, there's people that can get leads, but they don't know how to monetize them. You know, there's always someone for every step of the way, and when you can jump in, you can do great things. I also know, I don't know how many apps have them that have the capability or how often it's used, but push notifications is also an option.
Yep. No, absolutely.
So now I kind of want to, have you had any other kind of experiences? I mean, I think the pregnancy one really gave us a good idea and a good landscape of the mobile, and this one as well for leads and opt-ins. I mean, do you have anything else, just as far as landing page or lead magnets, anything special that you've kind of learned or done?
Let's see. In terms of landing pages, I honestly just use lead pages most of the time. They've got some really nice mobile optimized templates.
You don't use
that are
growth pages?
Not yet.
We don't have that. We don't have that.
But I will. Hook me up with a review copy.
No, I'm kidding. We don't have.
I know, I am too. I'm messing with you.
Pages has has mobile landing pages. Is that correct?
Yeah. So they've got like this one that has the video background. Have you seen that one? It fits perfect on mobile screens, and then they've got a bunch of like centered basic opt-in pages that work really, really well on mobile. So they don't look responsive. They actually look custom built for the phone. So I use them most of the time, and then same deal. Just keep it short, sweet, to the point. It's basically like when you write sales copy for desktop, you have a lot more space to get your point across. But when you're doing mobile, you kind of have to think like, how can I get my point across to these people as fast as possible, right? Almost talking like code language, not code language, but just instead of saying, learn how one broke college student, blah, 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 blah. Just be like, make $10,000 a week. Right?
Yeah.
Just cut out all the BS with mobile. That's kind of one thing that I would let people know. Yeah, cut the fat. Don't try to oversell something. Just short, sweet, to the point. Like, get your point across. That's how you get good opt-ins with mobile.
Now, on these landing pages, are you using a video? Is it just text?
So mostly just text. I've tested some video stuff. The only problem as of right now and what solutions I've seen, sometimes it takes the video a while to load, so it really drops your conversion rates down. What I would like to find is something that instead of when you click on the video, it opens it fully on your phone. Can we iframe it and just keep it small, and will it auto play? That would be something that'd be really cool. So yeah, mostly text for now. Headline, subheadline, call to action. Like that's super basic. Headline, subheadline, call to action, put your email address in, and then I'm going to sell you once I get you on my list with more, long drawn out information.
And have you seen, I'm curious with the entrepreneur list, what kind of lead magnet or giveaway did you use there?
With that one, I think I just kept it very simple. It was something about, I geared it towards Facebook. I'd have to look at my landing page again, but it's learn the tips that every startup company needs to, it says, now I know, sorry. Growth Hacks Guide. That's what I gave away, the Growth Hacking Guide. So it says, startup companies learn the growth hacks you need to take your business to the next level, or something like that. I can't remember the exact wording, but it's like, get the growth hacks, get our free Growth Hacks Guide to take your business to the next level as a startup. And yeah, it's converting really well, like 35%.
Awesome. And
So
so I think, I mean, my mind's blown. I feel like I've learned a lot, and especially with, with YouTube kind of entering the space more aggressively, with Facebook just freaking launching this nuclear missile to the middle of
right.
space. I mean, I really think that this mobile ad network that they're launching is going to be huge, and I'm
Yeah, me too.
excited to watch it play out. So I'm curious. I don't know if you have or not. Have you done things with Facebook mobile ads?
Yes, I have. I worked with another company that they have some apps that they do, and I'm not going to call them out by name, but I
Hmm.
did same sort of test. I basically used custom audiences, right? And I targeted all these um, pages that were interested in the topic, and the topic was it was basically like mobile magazines, essentially. So the offer was to like set up your own mobile magazine company, and so I targeted people that were in like offline groups or anybody interested in mobile, Squeeze Mobi's whole group and everything like that, and just said, hey, listen, this is the next big mobile opportunity, and I targeted them specifically on their mobile phone. So yeah, I had really good luck with that. To be honest, Facebook mobile ads are easy. I mean, it's like you set up a newsfeed ad, you target mobile, and it's like almost the same thing as targeting the desktop newsfeed. You know what I mean? So they made it very, very simple on us. So yeah, I mean, I have, and
But I would counter though because, as you say, to think of it in a different space, Facebook
yeah,
mobile ads themselves are easy, but the funnel is different.
yes, no, I agree with
The
you.
landing page probably should be different.
Yep,
Trying to get them to opt in, you're probably not going for direct sales,
yep,
with a mobile ad. So I would say where it's easy to set up, it's easy to get this part, but
yep.
connecting it is still a
No,
bit
that's a good point actually. And so yeah, we weren't doing direct sale. We were doing straight opt-in. It was to a mobile optimized landing page. And so that's kind of the next thing that I'm working on. Like I want to figure out how to do e-commerce or like sell actual products with mobile, right? So I know how to get opt-ins. I know how to market to them via my desktop computer. And like you say, right, with Facebook desktop ads, people are selling t-shirts, they're selling physical products, they're selling all these things. How does that translate into mobile, right? Because at some point, it has to be more than just opt-ins or CPA offers. How do we bridge that gap? And that's kind of like where I'm thinking right now and some of the stuff that I'm working on. But yeah, no, good point. I mean, it is different.
And have you seen as far as cost per click, cost per conversion, getting a lead when you ran those campaigns? Did you have any numbers as far as it costs this much on mobile, it costs this much on desktop?
Yep. So I think I was right around 86 cents a lead on mobile, and I was like over $1.50, I think, on desktop. And honestly, I put most of the energy into the mobile side, so it could just be that I didn't split test enough on the
Yeah.
desktop traffic. But yeah, like 86 cents a lead with the Facebook mobile traffic.
But I still think that it's kind of a scale issue, and that if you do have an ad that's going well, you want to do as much as you can with that ad.
Right.
So if you're missing out on mobile, you're missing out on half of the inventory, so to speak, with the Facebook
Yeah.
ads that you're running that you could be going after. And it's instead of looking for these more channels, hey, how can I hit this a little bit harder?
Right. How can I expand it? And I think, when you're targeting right now, that's what's going to be awesome about this F8 thing. Right now, you're only targeting people on their phone who are like inside their app, right? Inside the Facebook app. But with F8, it's going to be people that aren't in Facebook. They're off doing whatever they're doing, and it just opens up your reach so much wider.
Yeah, definitely agree. So any other notes or other kind of observations? I'm curious. I don't know too much about the market, so this
Uh-huh.
was I mean this was one of the most underprepared interviews I had because I did as much research as I could, but I really couldn't find out too much, and that's why I was really excited to have you on here.
Right. I mean, the truth is, and you say there's not a lot of information, and that's true. I'm kind of making this stuff up as I go, man. Like I'm just having to be like, listen, I've been marketing for a couple years. Like I'm trying to apply the same strategies, but how do I kind of shift my thinking? And there's a little content out there, like Ralph Ruckman's got some stuff, and there's some other people doing things, but truthfully, 80% of the stuff I'm doing is just kind of making it up on the fly because there isn't a book on it or a theory on it at this point, you know?
There's no big things out there, but
Yeah, no
it
manual.
does feed back to kind of standard ad practices. I mean, it's funny how far we seem to move ahead, but how it still feeds into old age things because
Right,
what you were doing is the most basic form of advertising. It's a media buy. It's saying, hey, let me
yep,
get some space. And if anything, that's very old school to do compared to
right,
the targeting and the demographics we have now. And it's knowing these basics of ads. Like, hey, first I got my opt into here, then I was like, all right, how can I make my banner better? Then I got my banner clicking rate through here. Now
right,
now I'm moving. Now I'm cracking. Even what you mentioned, have an image, get their attention, have a call to action. As I said, with the 7-word headline, sometimes 7 words, is the magic, or keep it
right.
simple. And it's these, fundamentals always cross over across different channels, and then you just have to find out how to
Right.
do it a little bit different.
Well, it's like it sounds simple when you say it, but it's easy to forget that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it sounds easy, but if you don't think about it, then you miss out on a good conversion rate possibly.
Exactly. I mean, it's going to be very exciting to see how things go along. Have you done anything with Twitter ads?
Yeah, I have a
Mobile
little
ads?
bit. I didn't have a lot of success with it, to be honest with you.
Mhm.
I didn't test out their lead cards or any of that stuff. What I found with Twitter is they will blow through your budget in about 20 seconds. Not even kidding. Like I threw up a budget for like $20 and I just kept hitting refresh and it was like draining my budget. It took less than 5 minutes to spend all that $20.
Kind
So
of
with
seems
Twitter ads, I
fun.
think, yeah, right. No kidding. It's like a game.
Yeah.
But no, that's something I need to get a little more into. So we'll see as we go.
Gotcha. All right. Well, hey, appreciate having you on. This was a lot of fun. I think I hope I kicked a few ideas your way too.
You did, absolutely. I
Like I
wrote some
said,
sweet things down.
good. That's always what I like to hear. That always makes me happy. That's how I know things went well.
Yeah.
For our members, if they do want to reach out to you or kind of follow your stuff, I mean, I'm going to push you probably to set up a blog. But in the meantime, I think you had an email address that they can reach out
Yeah,
to.
so you can just email me. It's Jack, Jack, at jackloves.me. So Jack at Jack Loves Me.
I like it.
So yeah, hit me up there. I'll get back to you if you guys have questions or comments or even cool ideas. I'm sure that, just listening to this, you've kind of thought of some things I've never even thought of before. So hit me up and let's chat.
Definitely. And we'll link up and get that case study from you. It's some sort of PDF
Yes.
guide.
Yeah, I'll send you everything after we get off the call here.
Sweet. And so I'll make sure I have that linked below in the show notes. They'll probably already see it, but hey, just in case you don't see it, it should be below this somewhere. So thanks a lot
Sounds
for
good.
coming on. Guys, if you want to reach out to them, guys and girls, Jack at jackloves.me. And thanks for watching this interview. Thank Jax for coming on.
Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it. Had a good time.
Take care.